just ate a full meal, yet somehow you're still hungry. Sound familiar? For many people, constant hunger isn't about lack of food. It's about how the body processes what you eat. Certain foods, eating habits, and even sleep patterns can affect the hormones that control hunger and fullness, making you feel like you need to eat again much sooner than expected. In this video, we're uncovering why you're always hungry even after eating, and the hidden factors that might be confusing your body's hunger signals. Your body is not getting enough protein. Protein is the most filling nutrient you can eat, and most people don't get nearly enough of it. When your meal is mostly carbohydrates or fat without much protein, your body digests it quickly, and your hunger signals bounce back fast. Protein triggers the release of hormones like peptide UY and GLP-1, which tell your brain that you're full and satisfied. Without enough protein, those signals stay weak, and your brain keeps sending out hunger messages, even though your stomach technically has food in it. If you've eaten a meal and felt hungry within an hour or two, protein is almost always part of the problem. A good target is including a solid protein source like eggs, meat, fish, legumes, or Greek yogurt in every single meal you eat. Not just dinner, every meal. When you consistently hit your protein needs, you'll notice hunger between meals becomes much easier to manage. You're eating too many processed and ultra-processed foods. Ultra-processed foods are scientifically engineered to make you keep eating. They get the perfect combination of salt, sugar, fat, and texture that your brain finds irresistible. But here's the problem. These foods are also incredibly low in the things that actually make you feel full: fiber, protein, and water content. A bag of chips, a granola bar, a bowl of sugary cereal. These foods are calorie-dense but nutrient-poor. Your stomach empties them quickly because they require very little digestion, and your brain doesn't register them as satisfying in the same way whole foods do. Processed foods also cause rapid spikes and crashes in blood sugar, which we'll get to in a moment, that leave you feeling hungry and craving more. The more whole, minimally processed foods you eat, things that look like they came from the ground or an animal, the longer you'll stay full and the less you'll fight against constant hunger. Blood sugar spikes are making you crash and crave. Here's a cycle that a lot of people are unknowingly trapped in. You eat a meal high in refined carbohydrates, white bread, pasta, rice, sugary drinks. Your blood sugar shoots up fast. Your pancreas releases a flood of insulin to bring it back down. Sometimes that insulin response is too strong, and your blood sugar drops below where it started. That drop sends a powerful hunger signal to your brain, even if it's only been an hour since you ate. You then eat again to get your blood sugar back up. The cycle repeats, and you spend all day chasing hunger. This is sometimes called reactive hypoglycemia, and it's incredibly common. The fix is to slow down how fast sugar enters your bloodstream. Eating more fiber, pairing carbs with protein and fat, choosing whole grain options over refined ones, and adding vinegar or fermented foods to meals are all proven strategies to blunt blood sugar spikes and keep hunger more stable throughout the day. You're mistaking thirst for hunger. Your brain has a hard time distinguishing between thirst and hunger signals. Both of them activate similar sensations in the body, and a lot of people consistently mistake mild dehydration for an urge to eat. If you find yourself feeling hungry shortly after eating, one of the first things you should do is drink a full glass of water and wait 15 to 20 minutes. You might find the hunger disappears entirely. Dehydration also affects the way your body metabolizes food and can slow digestion, making the whole hunger cycle worse. This is especially true if you drink a lot of coffee, tea, or alcohol, all of which have diuretic effects and speed up fluid loss. The goal isn't to chug gallons of water, but to stay consistently hydrated throughout the day. Starting your morning with a large glass of water before anything else, and keeping a water bottle nearby during the day, can make a measurable difference in how often you feel unexpectedly hungry. You're eating too fast and not giving your brain time to catch up. Your stomach and your brain don't communicate instantly. There's actually a delay of around 15 to 20 minutes between when your stomach becomes physically full and when the satiety hormones, mainly leptin and cholecystokinin, have traveled to your brain and registered as fullness. If you eat quickly, you can consume significantly more than your body actually needs before the fullness signal ever arrives. This is one of the clearest explanations for why people feel full 20 minutes after finishing a meal that didn't seem like enough at the time. Eating slowly isn't just a wellness cliche. It's a practical tool for letting your body's signals catch up with your eating. Putting your fork down between bites, chewing more thoroughly, eating away from screens, and paying attention to your food are all ways to slow down. When you make a habit of eating more mindfully and deliberately, you naturally eat less and feel more satisfied because you're giving your body time to communicate what it actually needs. Your sleep is wrecking your hunger hormones. If you've been sleeping poorly, your hunger is going to be dramatically worse, and there's a direct hormonal explanation for why. Sleep deprivation causes your body to produce more ghrelin, which is the hormone that stimulates hunger, and less leptin, which is the hormone that signals fullness. Even 1 or 2 nights of poor sleep can shift this hormonal balance enough to increase your appetite significantly and make you crave high-calorie, high-carbohydrate foods the next day. This is why tired people often reach for junk food, sugary drinks, and oversized portions. It's not just weak willpower, it's biology. Research consistently shows that people who sleep fewer than 7 hours per night consume more calories and have a harder time feeling satisfied from their meals. If you're fighting constant hunger, looking at your sleep quality is absolutely essential. Prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, keeping a consistent sleep schedule, and reducing screen time before bed can all help restore your hunger hormones to a more balanced state. Stress and cortisol are driving you to eat more. Chronic stress is one of the most underestimated drivers of constant hunger. When you're stressed, your body releases cortisol, a hormone that was designed to prepare you for physical threats. One of the things cortisol does is increase your appetite, specifically for calorie-dense foods like sugar and fat, because your body thinks it might need the energy to fight or run. The problem in modern life is that most stress is mental and emotional, not physical. You're not actually burning through those extra calories, but your body is still pushing you to eat them. Cortisol also disrupts the normal functioning of leptin, your fullness hormone, making it harder for your brain to register satisfaction even when you've eaten enough. Over time, chronic high cortisol can even contribute to increased fat storage, particularly around the belly. Managing stress through exercise, sleep, social connection, and mindfulness isn't just good for your mental health. It directly affects how hungry you feel and how well you respond to the food you eat. Your gut microbiome may be sending hunger signals. Your gut isn't just a place where food is digested. It's home to trillions of microorganisms, collectively known as the gut microbiome. Over the past decade, research has shown that these tiny bacteria have a surprisingly strong influence on your appetite and cravings. Certain types of gut bacteria, particularly those that thrive on sugar and highly processed carbohydrates, can actually send signals to your brain that make you crave the very foods they need to survive. In other words, some of your cravings aren't just about your willpower. They're about the needs of your gut bacteria. If your gut is dominated by these sugar-loving bacteria, which often happens when you eat a lot of processed foods, you may experience intense, persistent hunger that feels almost impossible to satisfy. You might notice that even after eating a meal, the urge to snack or binge on sweets doesn't go away. This is because these bacteria are actively influencing your appetite, nudging you toward the foods that help them thrive. The encouraging part is that your gut microbiome is highly responsive to what you eat. You can actively shift it toward healthier populations over time by feeding the beneficial bacteria. Fiber-rich foods like vegetables, legumes, and whole grains serve as fuel for these good bacteria, helping them multiply and crowd out the sugar-loving ones. Fermented foods such as yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi introduce live beneficial bacteria that further support microbiome diversity. As your gut bacteria gradually change over weeks and months of consistent dietary adjustments, many people notice that their cravings and constant hunger begin to calm down naturally. You start feeling fuller for longer, and your body's signals for true physical hunger become clearer. In essence, improving your gut health isn't just about digestion. It's a powerful tool for managing cravings, regulating appetite, and supporting long-term healthy eating habits. You may be eating the wrong volume of food. Calories and food volume are two very different concepts, and confusing them is one of the main reasons many people feel constantly hungry. Take a small bag of nuts and a large chicken salad as an example. Both might have roughly the same number of calories, but the way they impact your body is completely different. The salad, because of its size, water content, and fiber, will fill your stomach much more effectively and keep you satisfied for longer. The nuts, while calorie-dense, don't take up much space, so your stomach doesn't get the signal to stop eating. This happens because foods with high water content, like vegetables, fruits, soups, and stews, physically stretch your stomach. That stretch activates receptors in your stomach wall, which then send fullness signals to your brain. When your diet is focused on calorie-dense but low-volume foods, your stomach can remain relatively empty even though you've consumed enough energy, leaving you searching for more food and feeling unsatisfied. The concept of volumetric eating is built around this idea. It's not just about counting calories. It's about considering the physical amount of food you eat and how filling it is. By prioritizing foods that are high in fiber and water, you can eat more and feel full without dramatically increasing your calorie intake. Practical strategies include starting meals with a large salad or a broth-based soup, filling at least half of your plate with vegetables, and including fruits and other high-volume foods throughout the day. These approaches help you satisfy both your stomach and your brain, making it easier to stick to a healthy eating pattern without feeling deprived. Emotional hunger is different from physical hunger. Not all hunger comes from your stomach. A lot of the time, what we think is hunger is actually emotional hunger, the urge to eat in response to feelings like boredom, stress, sadness, loneliness, or anxiety. Emotional hunger is extremely common, but because it feels so real, many people don't even realize that their cravings are coming from emotions rather than a true physical need for food. The tricky part about emotional hunger is that it doesn't behave the way physical hunger does. When you eat to satisfy emotional hunger, the food might give a temporary sense of comfort, but it doesn't actually address the underlying emotion. This means the urge to eat comes back quickly, often stronger than before, leaving you stuck in a cycle of eating without ever feeling truly satisfied. Emotional hunger also tends to hit suddenly and strongly, usually for very specific comfort foods. Think ice cream, chips, chocolate, or anything you associate with pleasure or stress relief, instead of just being open to whatever food is available. On the other hand, visible hunger has a very different pattern. It usually develops gradually, and your body will be satisfied by a wide range of foods. Once you eat, visible hunger fades, and you feel nourished. Emotional hunger, by contrast, feels urgent and often obsessive. Even after eating, it can linger if the emotional need behind it hasn't been addressed. Learning to recognize the difference between the two is a valuable skill. When you notice that your hunger is driven by cravings or feels sudden and urgent, it's worth pausing and asking yourself what you're really feeling. Sometimes the answer isn't food at all. It could be a need for movement, a conversation with a friend, journaling your thoughts, or simply acknowledging the emotion instead of trying to suppress it with eating. By tuning into your emotions and understanding your triggers, you can break the cycle of emotional eating and start responding to hunger in a healthier, more mindful way. Feeling hungry all the time isn't always about willpower. Often, it's about nutrition balance, lifestyle habits, and how your body regulates hunger. Once you understand what's triggering those constant cravings, it becomes much easier to make changes that keep you satisfied longer. What do you think makes people feel hungry all the time? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more videos about health, nutrition, and building better habits.